Going back to Cali, to Cali, to Cali. I'm going back to Cali to cover the boys. I'm going back to Cali, to Cali, to Cali. I'm going back to Cali to cover the boys. Okay, we're trying. Just reboot it and see if that took care of the problem. It looks like I'm going right here. Until next time, folks. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys hear anything on here? He has a notebook. They come with a mic. No, it's actually a separate mic, but I don't know what happened. Basically, I just rebooted it. I apologize. Let me try and start this show again. Today has been one of those literally days from hell. Basically, I ended up working about 12 hours today, had kind of a messed up situation that happened, a big family scare, got to work, and ended up leaving there about 7:45. Got home literally about 45 minutes ago, threw some food down, came through here, forgot, excuse me, to plug in the microphone, and as you see, didn't get the show going. So I was starting off the show here real quick because I owe you guys an apology. And I really feel bad about this. The channel has been growing like crazy. And I got to tell you, I look forward to first thing in the morning doing a video with you guys. I enjoy giving you guys updates on what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys. I enjoy just sitting here talking, have a conversation. You guys make my day even more enjoyable. But the problem is, it's grown so much. There's so many comments out there that I can't get to them and answer them the way I'd like to. My life is just crazy right now. Between my regular day job, that I'm working 50, 60 hours, doing this, working on the red brick house, being a husband, being a father, there's just not enough hours in the day. So don't think that I don't read your comments and that I don't try and answer them. I do. I read as many of them as possible because without you guys, me and Joe Boo were nothing. So quit my day job. No, I can't quit my day job because then I'd be homeless. But seriously, I read a lot of them, and as many as I can. If I'm on a break or, just in the bathroom, wherever, I'm reading those comments. So don't think that I don't try. But even as we do these live streams, the comments go flying through. It's really hard to keep up. So yeah, there's a super chat apparently. How about them Cowboys? Just let me know. And I miss that because, again, it's just hard to get up all of these comments and stuff. But we have a really, really, yes, how about the Cowboys? I did check out your YouTube trailer. It's great. I definitely look to see some more stuff from you. So forgive me for being a little bit off here tonight after having the mic scare and then having this whole thing. But one thing I do want to say real quick before we can talk about the Cowboys is be careful out there. You're going to get phone calls with all kinds of scams in the world. People are going to say that we're the IRS and you owe a boatload of money and we're going to take you to court. Well, it's bullshit because the IRS isn't going to take you to court. They're just going to take your money and they're not going to call you and tell you that. You're going to get scams that are Walmart gift cards and you click on them and it's a scam that's going to steal your information. You're even going to get people who are going to call and say that we've kidnapped your daughter and we're holding them ransom if you don't send us cash. So be careful out there what information you put out there, what you do, what phone calls you answer, because there's even other ones out there where they'll call you and say, can you hear me? And you say yes, and they've already got your credit card information and they use your voice to be able to steal your stuff. So when you're on Facebook or anything else, surfing the web, be careful what you click on. When you get a number that you don't recognize, look at it and answer it with a side eye because it may be BS or it may be a scammer or somebody that's trying to rip you off. So I'm just going to leave it at that. We had a situation we were dealing with today that was really scary. And just want you guys to be aware that there's a lot of scams and stuff that are going on out there. But anyway, on to the Dallas Cowboys and Zeke Elliott. Zeke Elliott situation, I'm tired of it. I am just so sick of being held hostage by this situation. Every other day there's another report about Zeke's going to be suspended. Jerry Jones will talk about it. Or even you get idiots like Cris Carter who's out there saying that it's Tom Brady-like. He's destroyed evidence or excuse me, the facts will come out that, it's Tom Brady-like. And what you're getting
is then speculation. Cris Carter says it's going to be Tom Brady-like, Deflategate. So I'm sitting here, because I'm always surfing the web, and before I put anything out there, I try and go to reliable sources, because now you look at anything and everything looks like it's legitimate. And I'm going through with Michael, and I'm seeing this article that Zeke Elliott destroyed evidence at the NFL's investigating. I was like, oh shit, if he destroyed evidence, they're going to get him then. But I'm going through it, and what they did is basically they took Cris Carter's interview where he says Tom Brady-like, and they inferred and said, oh, well, Tom Brady destroyed his phone, so Zeke Elliott must have done that. So you got to be careful with what you read and follow up, because I didn't put it out there because I was kind of like, that don't sound quite right. I've never heard that before. And even the NFL commissioner called out and said, BS on Cris Carter. Cris Carter doesn't know anything. We haven't made a decision. So Cris Carter got what he wanted. People are listening. People are clicking and going about their business. In the end, when this all goes out, all these things that have come out or been said and all that will just be forgotten. The guy's name will be soiled. Because in that same article that I was just talking about, we had them saying that Zeke Elliott's violent domestic violence. Where did you get violent domestic violence? There's no evidence from the police department. So how do they infer and say there's violent domestic violence? So there's a lot of misinformation and BS that's out there. And that's one thing I try not to do is I'll give you facts, and if I'm not sure about it, I'll say, hey, this is what I've heard. I don't know anything out there, or I won't even go with it. But with that being said, with the Hall of Fame now over, Jerry Jones in the Hall and stuff, I think the NFL will decide something soon, and I've gotten kind of a hint from somebody that this may be the week. And I'll just leave it at that. So we'll see if something happens in there. We had Zeke Elliott's father go out and basically say, I'm going to defend my son against these fake allegations, and go through the whole thing. So I'm just tired of it. We just need a resolution on this whole thing. It's just ridiculous, because I'm sitting here looking at some of the other things that have gone on. And I had an Atlanta Falcons fan in here tell me that I'm full of crap, because when I was talking about Collins, when something happens with a Dallas Cowboy player, my phone blows up. Boom, like crazy. You got Bleacher Report. You got NFL.com. You've got 12 Up. Everything's boom, 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 instantly. If Zeke Elliott gets a hangnail. But yet, a former New York Giant player gets busted with 25 pounds of weed. My phone looked just like this. Nothing. Okay. Atlanta Falcons player gets busted for PEDs again after being suspended 4 times last year. Gets suspended 10 times this year. My phone. Nothing. So this Atlanta Falcons guy says, oh, it's all over ESPN and the news and all that stuff. And I kind of had to laugh and said, yeah, you're Atlanta, aren't you? Because you don't understand what being all over the place is until you've been a Dallas Cowboy fan. Because the Dallas Cowboys will get run through the mud. It will be, that's the culture. Yet, in Miami, I didn't even realize it till one of you guys commented about Landry. Domestic violence incident where he used his hand, his fists, his teeth, and something else in domestic violence. And the team says, yes, we know about it and we're monitoring the situation. But I don't hear anything from the NFL. Interesting, isn't it? Interesting that we have these 3 events that you can put all 3 of those together and they won't be 10% of the coverage of what it would be if it were a Dallas Cowboy player. Dallas Cowboy player, Dolan Carroll, who came from another team, has drunk driving. You have a Pittsburgh Steelers player busted for not drunk driving, driving while impaired with marijuana in the car. Did you guys hear much about that? No. Didn't, did you? You got other players that have punched people in the face and have been found guilty about it, but we don't hear the NFL saying anything about, oh, that happened before they were drafted. That's it. So it's not fair and balanced and equal. Does Cutler's, thanks, how about them Cowboys? Does Cutler's to the Dolphins mean something for Romo? No, not really. What it really means is that Jay Cutler is completely blackballed when the fact that they said that they considered Tim Tebow and Kyle Orton. And I'm still kind of wondering that, Colin Kaepernick did go to a Super Bowl. He actually played pretty well on a bad team last year, but yet you're thinking more about Tim Tebow, who's playing baseball and hasn't played football in, 3 years? That's about all that means, if you ask me. To me, it's crazy. And unfortunately, because of the way they cover any incidents with the Dallas Cowboys, you think that they're all just bad. Look at New York. Eli Manning, there's emails with him basically knowingly passing off game used gear that wasn't game used. But no problem with that. Somehow somebody forged some Dak Prescott signatures and you're ready to send Dak to Rikers. He's got a machine at his house and he's forging his own signature at night. I mean, really, Dak Prescott's there. Yeah, let me use this machine and make my signature. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. If you guys truly believe that this is fair and impartial, then you're full of crap. But with all that being said, I'm just ready to accept. Just suspend the guy. Just get it over with. I'm tired of this black cloud hanging over the Dallas Cowboys.
Wait if he gets 6 games.
So be it. Because I tell you what it will do, sometimes you need a battle cry. You need a red badge of courage. You need something to unify your team around. And I dare say, if Zeke Elliott gets suspended on squadouche, that will bring everybody on that team together to say, you know what? We're going to say F the NFL. We are going to tear this mother down. We're going to set the roof on fire. We are going to kick ass. Much the way, if you'll notice, every time New England gets busted for something, what happens? They win the freaking Super Bowl. Tom Brady got suspended for 4 games.
And then we lost for 1.
Thank you. That's Michael over there talking. Yes, Michael does talk. He does laugh. He does crack a smile. And he is a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. But here's the thing. Tom Brady sat out 4 games last year. And they started 3 different quarterbacks and won 3 games. 2 of the guys had played their very first game ever in the NFL. How does that shit happen? They all rallied and said, it's us against the world. And you see all these suspensions with the Cowboys. You hear all of these people talking down that Dak Prescott is just a dink and dunk quarterback. Des Bryant is over the hill. Can't stay healthy. He's a head case. The offensive line, oh man, they lost 2 veterans. They lost Doug Free and Ron Leary. Ron Leary was playing great last year. That offensive line may not be the best offensive line anymore. Oh, and that defense. Number one against stopping the run, but that wasn't their problem last year. It was defensive backfield, and they lost 3 starters, including a number 1 draft pick. They're going to be pathetic. That's what you get out there from all the talking heads. They're telling us that the Dallas Cowboys are squadouche. They're criminals. They're lawless. They're the scum of the earth. Yeah. Sometimes it's that underdog, that guy that's doubted, that makes it to the Hall of Fame. That's the guy that wins, that has something to fight for. And right now, the Dallas Cowboys have a lot to fight for. So that's my thoughts on that. In some other news, a lot of you guys last week were basically saying that taco was a vegetarian taco. A soft one at that. But I got to tell you, Taco, today was his best practice out there. Tackle for loss. Got upfield a lot. He's coming along. And that's what I told you guys. You can't judge a Hall of Fame game as a career. They said Dak Prescott in his early part of camp was slowing his reads. That guy became Rookie of the Year this year. The first game of the season, Zeke Elliott really didn't do squadouche. You had people saying he reminds me of Trent Richardson. You know, drafted in Cleveland, traded to the Colts for a first-round pick, never did jack. Yeah, they were saying Zeke Elliott was that guy. You know, the guy that won rushing title? So give the man a break. Give the man some time. We're just starting our 3rd week of training camp. And technically, nobody else has even played a preseason game. He will get there. Right now, all those rookies, eyes are wide open. So when those experts are sitting there talking about how pathetic the Dallas Cowboys secondary looked in that preseason game, Blaine Gabbert tore him up. Yeah, well, we didn't have Byron Jones. We didn't have Jordan Lewis. Anthony Brown only played a few plays because he tweaked his hamstring. We didn't have Orlando Scandrick. So if you're trying to judge the Dallas Cowboys defense by a Hall of Fame vanilla game, your ass shouldn't be on TV because you really don't know what you're talking about. So I believe in this team. I believe in youth because one thing I will always remember in high school, our coach said, you know what? If you're going to F up at full speed. Don't make a mistake and F up half-assing it. And he's got a point there. And that's what I look at when I think about our secondary last year. Morris Claiborne, when he was healthy the first 7 games, played well. Probably the best 7 games of his career. The only problem with that is it's a 16-game schedule plus playoffs. So when you're messing with him, half speed. Brandon Carr, consistent, always played, but he wasn't a shutdown corner. Getting long in the tooth. Not full speed. J.J. Wilcox, a headhunter. He played solid. But I can't say that I'd put him up there with Darren Woodson or anybody. He had pretty much reached about the pinnacle of where he was going to be. And in football, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Those guys would have been a year older. They wouldn't have been a year better. So I look at the whole youth movement. I look at what we've done with that offensive line. young guys that are out there able to move and hit. So that's how I feel about the situation right now. I may seem a little bit angry because this whole Zeke Elliott thing has just really gotten underneath my skin. And guys like Cris Carter with their whole line of BSing, like they got some inside information and know the be-all, end-all. And, of course, I'm really pissed because Joe Boo hasn't gotten his refill. So let me get to some of the comments and shout-outs to you guys that are on here. How about them Cowboys? I appreciate the super chats. All that stuff goes back into working on the show. I know you've got your YouTube channel and you're doing some videos and stuff. So, guys, check that out from How About Them Cowboys. And thanks a lot for the help. I see Sarah's here. Alan Sheets, how are you doing? Sixers JT. Burrito Carlton. Okay, you must be a Eagle troll. Anthony, Ricardo, Steve, Andy Garcia. First game, people will give him a little time. Yeah, Andy, I agree with you. Give the man some time. I mean, you can't expect a rookie to be a Hall of Famer in the first preseason game he ever plays in. I see Chlorine Bleach is here. Sandman, how you doing? The bucket for Cool J Kango was dope. Well, thank you. Glad you like that. I actually had planned on doing a whole video on there, but I just have not had time. I wish I had more time. I feel like Denzel Washington and Man on Fire. I wish I had more time. There's so many things that I would like to do. I've got a lot of great ideas, at least ideas I think that are great. And I just don't have time to get them done. It's just life is just really busy. Yeah, my dogs are a little crazy, Steve. They're upstairs barking at something. Who knows? Anytime anybody rings the doorbell or the TV has a doorbell on it, they're going to go crazy. Here's what I'll say, Jordan. I will say that I know where mine came from, and I'm going to leave it at that. And I know exactly where it came from. And I don't know one way or the other, but I would say it's leaning towards the worst case scenario there. I'm just going to leave it at that. Forgive me, my throat's a little dry. But expect to see something this week. Corey, would I like to see John Gruden replace Garrett? You know what? I've tried to stay away from the Jason Garrett bashing right now. Because right now, it doesn't do us any good. Because right now, Jason Garrett's our head coach. Jason Garrett's what we got. I want him to succeed. I want to see him get a Super Bowl. Doesn't mean I believe it's going to happen. I've gone on record saying that to me, he's a great guy. But being a great guy doesn't mean that you're a great coach. To me, sometimes it feels like we're a Little League. Great job, Johnny. We'll get him next time. I like some fire in my belly, and maybe it's because I'm old school. I like a coach that gets in people's behind, holds them accountable, says that shit's not happening here. That's not Jason Garrett. John Gruden there's two kinds of coaches in my mind. You have the organization team building coach like Bill Parcells. He buys the groceries. He puts the players on the field. Everywhere he goes and leaves, the cupboard's full. You've got great players. You look at some of the great players that we've had. DeMarcus Ware, Tony Romo, undrafted. It's because of Bill Parcells, Jason Witten. We got Tobias in Argentina. Welcome, Argentina in the house. Those are guys that build organizations. Then you have guys who suck at that. But they're good at taking a good team to the next level. But when that team gets old, they can't rebuild them. That's John Gruden. John Gruden took Tony Dungy's team that Tony Dungy built that was ready to go and took him and won a Super Bowl. When those players got old, he sucked at rebuilding the team. That's where he would fit in with the Dallas Cowboys, because Will McClay is putting the players in the field. You can't argue with the way we've drafted in the first round since 2010. Des Bryant, Tyron Smith, Morris Claiborne is the only bust in there. Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Byron Jones, Zeke Elliott. Only 2 of them aren't Pro Bowlers. 6 of them are starters. Think about that. 6 of our starters are first-round draft picks out of the last 7 years. That's kind of an amazing statistic. And nobody else has done that. We have talent. We have players. You got the best offensive line in football, regardless of them saying we're taking a step back because we lost Doug Free. And if anybody needs a drug test, it's anybody who thinks that one. You got the best running back, although he may be suspended. But I got to tell you, I might want to hold on to Alfred Morris as well as Darren McFadden, just in case. I see Law Nation's in the house, and I'm hoping I see Law Nation in Cali. You got great wide receivers, and if you don't think that Des Bryant acts about 5 years younger and isn't in great shape mentally, physically, emotionally, you got another thing coming. Cole Beasley is going to be ready in that slot. Jason Witten still looks good. And now all of a sudden, you've got a 6'8" Rico Gathers that could be the X Factor target. He's got to work on his blocking. But that's a hell of a lot of weapons out there. A hell of a lot. And that's before I even mentioned how good Bryce Butler actually looked that first game with that stretch out deep catch. And Terrence Williams. So that offense, if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, I got to tell you, it's a disappointment. And you have to start looking at, maybe we need somebody else. I know he's Jerry Jones's favorite, but you can't keep wasting his talent. Tyron Smith is back at practice this week after having a week off, because you'll remember last year he had some back problems, and he still got some little ones now. You don't know how long Tyron Smith is going to be able to be there. You don't know how long Zeke is going to be a great running back. Running backs don't have a long shelf life anymore. So you got to win when you're ready, like right now. So let's hope that Jason Garrett is the answer and that I'm completely wrong. And Law, you're on that one. Looks like I got Law Nation trying to come in. Where are you? Law, why are you not coming in on... Law, let me call you. Okay. Actually, Law, was Law Nation calling in? And let me see if I can call him myself, because I got him on the wrong computer. Okay, Law, I'm calling you now, buddy. Let's turn the TV on here. Law Nation's calling in the house. How are you doing, Joshua? Hey, how are you doing, Law?
What's going on, man?
I've got your voice, but I don't have a picture.
Good, man. Everything's going your way.
You got me? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I got
Okay. Yeah, we got Law Nation in the house as soon as my TV warms up over here. Welcome to the show tonight, Law. I'm kind of going off on the whole Zeke Elliott, Cris Carter deal situation, and I'm just sick to death of the whole situation. I'm tired of listening to the talking heads talking about Zeke Elliott. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm just ready for the season to start, man, because they just keep going on and on and on and on and on about this issue.
Yeah, and it's just sickening that as much as we're going through this, that literally it's no end to it. And I was saying that we got the New York Giant former player who ended up having the whole weed issue. 25 pounds of weed he got busted with. My phone didn't blow up with that. We had Atlanta Falcon player suspended second time for PEDs, 10 games, hardly talked about. And now we've got is it Landry in Miami, who's under investigation for domestic violence. On my phone again, didn't blow up. The only way I heard about it was actually through one of my YouTubers here.
Yeah, it's sad, man. They love to pick on the Cowboys, but it's just crazy. I think the NFL, no way somebody can put it. NFL just hate the Cowboys.
Yeah, and that's sad. I don't know what else we can do on it, but like I said, I'm just ready for the whole thing to be over with because it's just not right.
It's definitely not, man. We just need to figure out something. I hope and I pray that the 12 wins and just put the nail in the coffin as far as Cowboys up and down every year. I want to just be able to just wreck the league.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. So tell me, are you going to be out? Am I going to be able to see you out in LA this week?
Man, it'd probably be a slim chance, man, because looking at the itinerary, I should be flying into San Diego Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning or early Thursday morning. So I think we're going to go on a cruise, a shoreline cruise, and then from there we're going to go somewhere to a nice little restaurant. And Saturday, my sister's birthday, she'll be turning big 34, so she's gonna have a big bang out there somewhere. So that's just I'm all in the mix, man. So if I get a hall pass, I'll see you guys there.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that I could because I really and truly want to meet you, if at all possible. We're working on it, guys, trying to get me and Law Nation together out in California. I think it would be huge for both of us and definitely for you guys. But what are your thoughts as far as practice and stuff today? From what I'm hearing, Taco had a fantastic practice, and he was definitely a crunchy taco today. And we're talking steak, not a vegetarian taco today. We're talking about a steak crunchy taco.
I haven't heard the news yet, man. So I'm just hearing it from you. I probably, I've been hard on Taco, so I'm like Rod Marinelli. I want the best out of him. A lot of people think that I'm wishing for the worst, but no, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan, so I want the best out of him. So if he's having a good news out of training camp, then that's good stuff,
Well, from what I've been hearing is today was definitely his best practice. The last couple he's had have been really, really good. Had a tackle for a loss, had a couple of up the fields and pressures and things like that. Like I was trying to tell people, defensive ends, it's hard, especially when you're playing against that offensive line that we have. Your eyes are wide open as a rookie. Just give the man some time to kind of get his legs underneath of him and to settle down. It may take a couple of games. It may take half a season, but give the man some time. Don't start calling him a bust after a Hall of Fame game, which is meaningless. Somebody was asking if you're the guy that does replays. And if you don't know who Law Nation is, please subscribe to his channel because, see, I just talk a lot. And I don't know if it's something physically or mentally wrong with me. I just talk a lot. But he will break down films and games and everything else and give you more in-depth coverage than I have time to be able to do. So check him out because you will see a lot of great stuff.
Appreciate it. Now, game. We didn't get a chance to do the recap, but I can tell you right now that Tapper looks good. Number 58, DeMontre Moore, when you get him 2 weeks later after the season starts, I think he's going to be formidable to the team. So, this rotational piece, which when you add the tacos into the mix of the Stephen Paella dish and you add the tacos in the mix of the DeMontre Moore stew, you got a lot of good stuff that's coming off that line. I think it was going to be pretty good.
Well, my son is over here, number 80. Number 80. He has been on the bandwagon of Rico Suave for quite a while.
Since he got drafted.
Yeah, he has been definitely on the Rico bandwagon. In fact, Mike Mosh, if he's watching, the guy I get my jerseys from, I was trying to get some jerseys before I go out to California, and my son said, "Can I get a Rico Gathers jersey?" He's like, "Dude, that's custom made. Nobody's got a jersey of a third string tight end." So he's definitely moving up the chain. He definitely looked pretty good there. 3 catches and stuff. We'll see how it goes. Well, yeah, actually, that story is true with Dak because when I ordered Dak Prescott's jersey from him, nobody had him because it was before he moved up the chain. So maybe lightning will strike twice and he will be the real deal.
Maybe it could be a good omen, you know. But you know, you got to understand too as well. You know, Rico, I love what he can bring out to the team. But I was listening to the news out there is that they saying that he's far behind on blocking. So
That's the problem.
we might sacrifice losing some skill set for blocking because Hannah is an excellent blocker.
Hmm.
From my understanding, Swaim is a good blocker. We all know what Jason Witten can do. So now you add Rico into the mix, then now you're trying to play with fire, you know. So where we're going to drop off at is can he block? Can he read his assignment? Do he know how to stay in when it's needed to be? Can he run the inline routes?
Right.
Is he able to do that against, you know, a first string player? So those are still reservations that we might have with the Ricos of the world.
But the thing you got to like, though, is 6'8", when you think that most of your corners are 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1". That's a big body that can jump up in the air, that can definitely get there. But we'll have to wait and see. But my big thing to you is, and I've kind of talked about this earlier, if Zeke gets suspended, what do you think happens to the team? Let's say it's for 2 games or 4 games.
This is what's going to happen. This is just only my observation. The league is going to come down with some phony ruling of him getting suspended. He's going to later on appeal that suspension. He's going to win, but they're going to say, "Hey, we did our time," you know. But I really think that it'd be kind of crass for the league to suspend him when you got Adam Pac-Man Jones, who was arrested and who actually spit on a lady.
Yeah.
Not allegedly, but he spat on a lady, which was a felony, which she then later on recanted and said, "Well, I'm going to drop the charges because, quote unquote, they might have paid her off." So there's so many variables. So how's the league going to suspend him for 1 game and then try to suspend Zeke for maybe 3 to 4 games for some he said, she said stuff?
I agree with you on that 100%. That, you know, it to me, it's crazy when you start seeing some of the other stuff that's out there. But, you know, of course, you're dealing with being the Dallas Cowboys. And, of course, the Dallas Cowboys, you're always going to get the venom. And, again, as I was saying, is the coverage on anything that the Cowboys do is not skewed. It's skewed towards them. So you don't hear about the same stuff that goes on with other teams. You think that the Dallas Cowboys are the only team that has any problems and issues out there. So the bigger question is, forget about the NFL. How do you think the team will play without Zeke?
Oh, well, I think they're still going to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The offense runs through Dak Prescott. Now, the media and all of the social elites, the people, the talking heads will say, well, the football, it was ran and, Zeke Elliott made them win the games. But if you go back, everybody go back, and I think I got most of the games posted on my Facebook page. If you go back and watch the Redskins game, if you go back and watch the quote unquote the Eagles game, and if you go back and you look at that last drive on the Green Bay game, not the playoff, but during the season when he scored, of course we had Lucky Whitehead, but Dak Prescott pushed that ball down the field. Now, one can lament and argue about the Pittsburgh Steelers game, but still, Dak Prescott pushed that ball down the field. You got to have a quarterback.
But wait. It was 53 seconds, if I remember, on the clock there. Mm-hmm. Okay, he got him. Yeah. Zeke made that final run there and all after they were in field goal position. But that 53 seconds, I think, was it 20 seconds that was left on the clock when they scored? Because he got a couple of, 2 or 3, good pass plays to march them down the field. And then Zeke, because they were worried about the pass, Zeke right up the gut. So I will still put that on running that 2-minute drill from deep in your territory, 53 seconds to go. If that were the case, then you'd see the Minnesota Vikings blowing people away years ago with Adrian Peterson. And they struggled having a great running back. You still have to have a quarterback who can make the throws.
Mm-hmm. There you go. You know what scares the hell out of me, Mark, man?
What's that?
Just to be honest with you.
What's that?
Kelly Moore. He scares the hell out of me because he's so small and tiny. I do know that we kind of caught in the moment and we said, man, he pushed the ball. He did a good job. He was serviceable enough. But when you talking about your overall offensive line, everybody's 6'2" and above, right? Six
Yeah.
foot three, 6'5", and they're not even scouting this guy. And I love what he can do as far as passing the ball in a tight situation, as far as serviceable enough for like 1 or 2 games. But I really think that we need just to improve and better our best at that quarterback position.
You're
That's the
not. Yeah,
only thing
you're
that's kind
preaching
of
to the
scares me a
choir.
little bit.
You're preaching to the choir right now. On that one, I got to be honest with you. To me, if Dak goes down, we can just cancel the season. I hate to put it that way, but that's kind of where we are, unless we get Tony Romo out of the booth, which I still think is a possibility. I think if Dak were to go down with a serious injury, that Jerry Jones and all his money would call up Tony Romo. Here's your team, son. You want that ring? You can still come get it here in Dallas.
There you go. I appreciate that insight, man. Somebody asked, "What about Jeff Heath?" Some people still have reservations on him. What are your thoughts on him?
I still kind of have reservations on him too. He's played, he's made some plays and stuff in spots and all that, but that's been in spots. I'm not sure that he's ready to be an every down safety. That's just my personal opinion. Nothing personal against it. I just don't feel it just yet. What do you think?
Well, I looked at the tape, and he pretty much stayed in his line assignment. The middle linebacker and the strong side linebacker kind of blowing their line assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And then to attack the cover two defense, you got to attack in the seam in the middle of the field, because they pretty much take out everything as far as the edges. So I think that the reason why they kind of like Byron Jones, looked like he was running around with a chicken with his head cut off, and Jeff, it's because for the simple fact that they had the middle of the field kind of wide.
Yeah,
open.
they definitely were wide open. Yeah, but I won't. I don't go through the Hall of Fame game and try and really judge a whole lot. I mean, again, the guys have only been in practice for 2 weeks. They've only had 5 padded practices before that game, so you haven't had a whole lot of work going into there, and none of your big guns played. So I'd say pump the brakes. You don't really tell a lot from preseason.
Yeah, true that. But you look at the individual. I kind of look at the individual play.
Yeah.
But I really want to see, like, now the second game. What we want to do is see if is there any level of consistency, and if there's any level of, like, Cheetah Bay Awuzie got his hands on the ball. This time will he actually pick it off this time?
Right.
Because we always had DBs to put their hands on the ball, but we just never really had nobody to take interceptions.
That damn Giants game, the second one. Should have been 6 interceptions of Eli Manning. The ball was literally in everybody's hands, and they just couldn't hold on to it. But yeah, you're right, and that's where I'm happy that we keep hearing all the talking heads out there talking about the Dallas Cowboys lost 3 starters in the defensive backfield, and you would think there was 3 Deion Sanders back there that the team lost. I think personally that our defensive backfield will be better than what we had last year. Well, actually, if anybody stays healthy, they're better than Morris Claiborne was last year, but that's my own personal thoughts. I feel good about the defense. I still wish we had gotten that 300-pound gorilla, that war daddy, that guy that literally makes quarterbacks piss their pants, because I think that's the one thing that's needed for our defense to tie it all together and really make it outstanding. But we'll have to wait and see if one of these guys step up and become that guy.
Yes, indeed. I was watching somewhere. It was on NFL Network, I believe. They're giving the top 10 or top 10 defensive end or defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
And your guy Calais Campbell's like right there, still at his age. I seen it like, man, Cowboys should have just paid a little bit extra money for to have a solid veteran on the team.
Calais Campbell would have been the cure-all for this team. I know him, and I'm not saying this because I do know him or I've worked with him a lot. And on and off the field, the guy is a stud, a solid citizen. You will not meet a guy who is more genuine and giving back in the community, but is a warrior literally on the field. He gives 120%, and he is a guy who makes plays. From his position, he's getting 7-8 sacks a year. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but you have to understand what he does for everybody else around him. part of the reason why that Arizona defense was so good is because he was constantly being doubled and triple teamed, and yet still getting the quarterback, which is leaving inferior talent one-on-one against other guys that were able to make those moves. And that's the kind of guy that we need in Dallas to be able to occupy. Say, we cannot let that guy beat us, who gets the focus and then ends up leaving lanes for, DeMarcus Lawrence or Tyrone Crawford or David Irving. And that's the one thing that I think we're missing is that one guy, the Reggie White type of guy.
Yes, indeed. And speaking of defensive ends and defensive linemen, did you cover already the Seattle Seahawks guy calling out our quarterback, Dak Prescott?
Marty B's brother. Yeah. No, actually, I didn't call that out, but I didn't even think that because, Bennett is always running his mouth, but he said that he's definitely going to get Dak. So we'll see how that goes. But I kind of like what our Cowboys are doing because we've got Josh Norman. He's out there calling us out and stuff. You got New York Giants that are calling us out and stuff. But we're just kind of like, cool. We'll let our play on the field do our talking for us. And to me, that's the way you really get under somebody's skin is let them talk. Let them say all kinds of crap. But you knock them on their ass, and then you smile at them. And that's how you really drive them up the wall. So let them talk.
You know what? We got a well buttoned up team because I don't see nobody on
Nobody's
our team
talking
trash talk.
No, because remember, Josh Norman was calling out and trying to bait Des Bryant, and Des Bryant didn't even fall for it. He just said, we'll get on the field, we'll see what we're going to see, and that's it. He's not going to get into that war of words, And see, what I've learned at least is when you act like that with somebody else, it kind of pisses them off even more. See, Odell Beckham falls for that trap with Josh Norman all the time. He gets to that war of words and gets it underneath his skin, and then it throws him off his game. So you can't play those head games, at least in my mind. That's the way I feel. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and it's a different era than when I grew up. But to me, that was the way you got underneath people. Just grin in their face. When they talk shit, yeah, okay. Knock them on their ass and just keep grinning.
No doubt, man. I just can't wait for the Giants game, really, man. I got it circled on my calendar, man. I just can't wait.
I'm so ready for the regular season to get here and just get done with all of the Zeke Elliott talk and everything else, the preseason. I'm like ready to get this thing going. Oh, boy.
So when you think they're going to make that announcement? Is it 48 hours like Cris Carter, the fall guy Cris Carter says?
Okay, just because he said 48 hours, it'll be, longer. I think it'll be Thursday myself. Thursday or Friday. I don't think it's going to be that early. And here's the thing that now I kind of wonder in my head because Cris Carter came out with all this BS and stuff, if it all of a sudden makes the NFL say, wait a minute, we can't make Cris Carter look like he has some inside information. That may actually change the whole narrative the other way. You never know because it's kind of like, okay, do we have a leak here? So we'll have to wait and see on that. Like I said, I heard through the grapevine that something was going to be happening this week, so that this was going to be an interesting week. And we'll see if that source was right or not.
Yes, indeed. I kind of like what Mark Cuban, he called out the NFL and said, hey, these guys are political, pretty much too political. In the NBA, we would never have these type of issues where we at because we kind of handle everything up front and we just kind of get everything concise and get everything out. So I think they're going to have to start moving swiftly now that Mark Cuban pointed them out.
Yeah, and see, the thing to me is this. If anything, by dragging out as long as they have, they've actually brought more of a negative spin to the NFL. Because, justice is supposed to be swift. We're talking about this thing for a year, and every week it's another, is it going to be suspended? He's not going to be suspended. Jerry Jones is talking about it. He's not talking about it. And then you've got all of these fake sports, bloggers, like I was talking earlier, that are saying that, he's being investigated for violent domestic abuse. It's like, oh, wait, where are you getting that? That's not even close to the situation. But every week you're getting it put out there that there's domestic violence and he's doing it and this, that, and the other. So to me, you're putting more of a negative light onto the NFL by dragging it out as long as you have.
Right, and that's why they have in certain court cases, depending on your professional or your profession, I'm going to say, you have a right to a speedy trial. So you can't just overlook the NFL. NFL just can't say, well, hell, we grand jury, hell and brimstone, we the executioner, we all these people are all wrapped up in one. When you just can't have a fair legal system, because at one point you got Geronimo Allison suspended for one game who plays for the Green Bay Packers, and you got Demontre Moore suspended for 2 games, but allegedly both for the same offense. That just kind of like you can't pick your poison. You can't just say,
Right.
okay, well, we're going to punish the Cowboys more because they more exposed.
Right. Yeah, and that seems to be the way they're kind of going about it, because it seems like all these other incidents happen around and things and nothing, but here it is. A year later, we're still dealing with the whole Zeke Elliott situation. But I guess it is what it is. To me, I was saying that I think that may be the thing that really takes this team to another level. In much the same way, New England, it seems like every time the NFL goes after New England, they're winning Super Bowls. Tom Brady gets suspended for Deflategate, and what happens? He comes through on a tear and ends up, running through running through the NFL onto another ring to kind of thumb their finger in their NFL's face. So maybe that'll be the thing that brings the Dallas Cowboys together, us against the world, and drives them all the way.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, let's hope so. So, wow, this hour always seems like it goes by so fast. I can't believe that I'm going to be headed to Oxnard on Wednesday. I'm hoping, Law, if there's any way possible, if I got to send you an anniversary present for your wife or something, a gift card to a day spa or something, let me know what it is, because I've got to hook up with you before the season starts, because I think it would be fantastic.
Yes, indeed, man. It would be fantastic and awesome. Maybe, just maybe, me, you, and Shango can collab together, do like a quick video or something like that. Either like the platform that we have now, or we
Yeah.
call into Shango show. Maybe we can do something like that
That'd
down the
definitely
line.
be great. Shango is supposed to be at training camp on Thursday and Friday. So I'm actually hoping to do some work and stuff with him there at training camp. And if I can get with you too, that would be freaking incredible. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna give you the closing words for tonight.
Oh man, well, I thank everybody for tuning in to the show, and salute to how about them Cowboys, Sarah Green, and Bobby J. Johnson. I see you in the chat box too as well. It's been my time. I really thank you guys for yours, and remember, you listening to nothing but the best. Salute.
All right. And guys, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I've got to actually start packing. I've got to work a double shift tomorrow. And then early Wednesday morning, I'm headed to California. And I can't wait to bring you the Dallas Cowboys. Hopefully, I can get you guys some great footage and some coverage like nobody else does. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for all your support. How about them Cowboys? Thank you for all the super chats and everything else, and all the support for the channel. And guys, check out How About the Cowboys channel and all that. And as always, thank you guys for helping to spread the Dallas Cowboy mojo. And I will see you here with any news on the Dallas Cowboys.